Inside the OMG, episode number 10. Me and Kelley running it down. We're going to be sharing videos, pictures from the time Kelley joined to the present. So from 2011 to 2019. I mean,
gosh.
You know,
I was still doing theater back then.
In 2011?
Yeah.
Well, I remember, so last week Matt was on the show, and he announced, hey, I'm moving back to Chicago, and I'm leaving. And Dee and I were, what? What are we going to do now? We just, momentum is picking up and things are going well. We just played the Santa Monica Pier to thousands of people, and it was great. And, okay, where is this bass player going to come from? So, our mutual friend Marcelo, who's co-owner of Encore, which is a musical theater company here in LA, I call him up because he does lighting for Green Day and Goo Goo Dolls and countless other bands. He surely's got to know a bass player. You know, I'm thinking just someone I don't know.
You just met one someone out on the road.
Just on the road, yeah. And he said, well, what about Kelley Hill? And I knew you for about 6 months because you'd been in Annie with Alexa.
Yeah, roughly.
And we had a couple conversations.
I think so, yeah.
But we never talked about playing music, doing music. I had no idea that you played.
No.
So he said, Kelley plays bass. You should give him a call. I call you up. You're like, yeah, okay, I'll come over and jam. I send you a couple songs. And then what was your perception of just the whole thing?
Well, a lot of it, so, I mean, just to kind of retrospectively go back, and I don't know how many people have actually kind of heard the whole story in its own sense. So at the time when we met, I was working with this theater company, Encore Entertainers, based in the South Bay. And I'd fallen into that, that whole thing in and of itself. I got in through a friend, and it was very haphazard and came out of nowhere. Didn't expect it. I was going to MI at the time, Musicians Institute at the time. So I was in college, and it was going good, and I was working a part-time job, and it was fine and everything. But I was in a very gig-oriented mindset. I definitely had the MI credo of find a gig and just keep pursuing gigs and stuff like that. So when I got involved with the theater company, there was sort of this side of me that I was oh, this is just long-term vetting into a gig of some sort. Yeah. But it was in a field that I had no business being in. I have no theater background, no experience.
You didn't act in school?
No, this was not something, but I saw an opportunity to play in an orchestra pit, which was also something I'd really had no experience with, and reading a lot of sheet music in the first place. But I've always been pretty decent at I could just play something twice and pick it up, and I just assume that that's how you learn. You just listen to it, you figure it out, and so I've always been that kind of player in a lot of ways. So I got involved in the company, and I was doing everything from being in the pit to being on stage to building sets, and I was just kind of learning a lot and engaging a lot in just that community. And so, but I was still very gig oriented, and I was gotta find a gig and stuff like that. And I wasn't playing with any bands at the time. I don't even know that I was looking that hard necessarily, because I had just enough things going on that it was keeping me really busy.
Right.
And so, so we had talked, and again, we never really, you probably just knew me as some person who was involved. I didn't even know how I came across, because I clearly was not a student, but I was also not a teacher.
No.
I was just
you were the guy. You were just kind of part of the staff.
Yeah.
And it was whatever they needed.
I was very unofficially.
Hey, we need someone on
staff.
light crew. Hey, we need someone to build sets. And oh, you know what? We don't have a rooster in Annie, so why don't you do that?
Hadn't done any of that.
So you were bouncing around, and I knew you weren't, like you said, I knew you weren't a student there, but somehow you were just kind of everywhere.
They had really had me in this, like, I think in the long run, when I talked to the owners about it and like kind of my role in that situation, because I've like vetted with them, I was like, why did you like have me around? Because like I wasn't like, I think in the day and age of just being safe about who's in your company and stuff like that, it was like I didn't get paid, like I didn't work for you, but I wasn't your student. Like, why was I there? And they were very kind, both Summer and Marcelo, and they definitely had a tone of like, you were just like a good influence on the kids, and you were just somebody who was like fun to have around. And I think on a certain level, like I could relate to them in a way that they couldn't relate to them. So I was this like,
you were the mediator.
I was like this weird sort of mediator in terms of like, and I was driving from like Culver City, so it wasn't like a close trek. So I was spending a lot of time for free out there.
Right.
So we had talked a little bit, and kind of just, I think just generally like caught up in it.
Yeah, just okay. I mean, it's, you know, you seem like a good guy, and we connected on some level, but we weren't talking music at the time.
No, I don't think we did at all.
We were just whatever the kind of the situation was around us, we were kind of commenting on and maybe laughing about it. And
I'm sure, yeah.
You know, just whatever. It was, you know.
And so then Marcelo like hit me up and he was like, "Hey, Arif's like looking for a bass player," and I was just like, "What? Okay." I am a notorious not great promoter of self, like ever. It's kind of how I'm hardwired, and so I think a lot of times whenever like an opportunity presents me like that, I just like I initially will clam up at it. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, and for no good reason. I think it's just natural, just being shy or whatever and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we started talking, and you were like, "Yeah, we're like looking for a bass player, and we'll send you a couple songs." So I got a couple songs. I think you sent me like 3 songs or something like that.
Okay. I mean, I know Box Spring was one.
Yeah.
And I really don't remember the other ones.
I want to say there were like 2 more, and it kind of like ran the gamut and stuff like that.
Right. It was kind of like, yeah, check these 3 out. This is kind of, you know.
Right.
From one extreme to the other, we've kind of fallen between these.
Yep. It was probably something like that. Yeah. So I was sitting down and I was trying to work them out, and I had like, maybe a week or 2 to like figure them out or something like that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm the kind of learner who is just like, I'm just going to hear it. I'm just going to like feel it out. I'm going to see if I can find the root note and then kind of figure it out and stuff like that. Which I think ultimately at the end of the day, if you're a musician and you're coming in to like play someone else's part in a lot of ways, like is really helpful, because I'm not going to be able to play it the way that so-and-so played it.
Sure.
Like, it's probably just not going to fall in line that way. But I learned really early on, it's like, I need to own it in whatever way I'm going to own it. Because if you get like the structure of it and like 70% of it, like you can usually fudge like another 30 that people are like, well, it's weird here, but we can talk you through this portion here.
Right.
Which is also notorious for my early days of being in this band. And so I very distinctly remember, and I brought it up multiple times to the band, and I was like, the first time I heard Box Spring, and I think the coldest feeling that ran through me was like, oh, I don't play this type of bass.
I've never done this.
I think I genuinely considered being like writing you and like, yeah, I just don't think it's gonna be a good fit.
Yeah.
I'm like a rhythm guitar player at the end of the day, and really ultimately
ultimately you're a drummer.
I'm a drummer at the end of the day. So like,
really, you're a drummer first who happened to play bass,
which is shocking plenty of people right now to see this, I'm sure.
But that totally worked and helped, because I have to tell you, when you came in and you played, so I've probably shared this story with you, but I don't know if I'll share it with you now if you haven't heard. Years ago, when Dee and I got together, and I talked about it last show or 2 shows ago, when we actually played original music the first time, it was like we'd been playing together for years, and there was just an undeniable chemistry. Undeniable. All right. You walked in, you sat down, you played, we did the stuff, you went away. You were like, okay, thanks a lot, and you walked out. And I sat here and looked at him, and I said, D, that same feeling I had when you and I played is what just happened. And he goes, no, I know. Like, I don't know what just happened, but there was just an automatic this. It was undeniable. the same feeling I had playing with D years ago, you had with us. And we had to, I think I called you and I said, hey, we still have other guys that, you know, or maybe I told you when you were here, we still have like 3 or 4 other guys that we had already scheduled to come, and we're going to try them out. But, you know, so you walked away and we both said, he's the guy to beat. There's no way. It was just like, okay, well, you know, good luck. We're going to see what happens. So one guy after another came through, and they were all good bass players, but it wasn't it. That didn't matter. You know, and it's not. So I'm so glad you didn't say, I'm not really that kind of bass player, because it's more than that. It's more than just playing the right notes. It's all your years of listening to music and loving music and making music, and gelled with all my years and all of his years in this crazy way. And it was just like a switch got turned on. And so, okay, from that moment, we tried out the guys, and I think I called you and I said,
I think so.
Hey, we'd love to have you be in the band. And I think you were, you know, yeah, okay. I mean, it wasn't like,
I'm sure it was.
Let me, you weren't like, let me call you back and let me think about it and I'll have my people call you.
I have no people.
There wasn't anything like that. And then I said, okay, great. We have a gig in a couple weeks.
Oh, yes.
Here's 30 songs.
Oh, yes.
Which we had done to D when he joined. Here's 30 songs. We're going to play at Danny's in Venice Beach.
Yeah.
And, okay, so we made it through. You did, you know, the 30 songs. And it was a chill gig, so it was great. I mean, it was this all ages restaurant, and there was no pressure. It wasn't like we had to put on a show, you know. Which the first video I'm gonna play.
Oh my goodness!
Is when I realized this was something else, because we never did like a proper like show rehearsal or stage rehearsal or
no.
We just sat in chairs here. Played songs, helped him learn 30 songs. And then we played it.
It was like 10 at a time.
10 at a time. And you came in, you were prepared, and you've got some crazy like memory. Like you can hear it once, play it once, and you're like, yeah, I remember it.
Because I think we only had 3 rehearsals. Yeah. So it averaged out
to
about
10 a day. We had
to do 10 a rehearsal. And so every week it was like, I really hope I remember these 10.
10 a rehearsal. So then the next show after Danny's, we're playing a Gig Boss show.
Yes.
House of Blues in Anaheim.
Uh-huh.
And I believe they had curtains. There was curtains.
Yeah, maybe.
So we had set up. We're ready to play. The curtains open, and then this is what happened. So I'm gonna play you. Unfortunately, I don't have the whole first song.
I forgot we had video of this.
Oh yeah, I don't have the whole first song. I just have the end of the first song. It's Dee's song, "Do It All." So he's singing and playing, obviously playing drums, but it's his song. That's how we started the show. And I think Beth told me after, her jaw was on the ground because the curtains opened and this energy came out. And then she was like, I think I need to video this. So the sound is kind of muffled. We're just catching the end of the song. And then the sound like opens up and you hear it better. But this is 2011. This is December. I think it was December 7th.
I'm going to cringe my way through this video.
2011. House of Blues. Ah! So when
I clearly had not gotten the shirt thing right at that point.
That's okay.
It's tough for me.
That's okay. But that we hadn't rehearsed like, okay, what's it going to be like when we actually play on a proper stage?
Never.
We didn't know. We never
say that.
Okay, we prepared whatever 7 songs. It was a 30-minute set,
Probably,
or 8 songs,
something like that.
And then that happened, and then it just was like, oh, this is going to be okay. And you totally kicked my butt.
I'm not a standstill guy,
which is perfect. It just changed the landscape of what we were doing, and it was just awesome. It was awesome.
That show was a blur. I definitely, because I think it was House of Blues Anaheim.
Yeah.
And probably the biggest stage I had played at that point in my life, because I had the feeling of like, oh, I remember when I used to see shows here. I was that kid. I was like, oh, I saw like Real Big Fish here. They were great. And that show was a blur. That one was.
But I mean, based on how you were there, it didn't look like
it's true.
It was bugging you. Like you were like, oh no, I'm nervous.
We'd never really.
It doesn't look like that at all.
We'd never really had the conversation of like a stage presence sort of thing, and so I think there was just this feeling like of going on where it was just like, all right, well, I think I'm just gonna do what I normally do.
Yeah.
And then wait to see if someone stops me.
No one ever stopped you. Okay. So, talk to me about playing bass with D on drums, like especially because you're a drummer.
Yeah.
So how was that kind of music relationship early on, and how was it for you? Your perspective.
Well, there was, I've told enough people like at work and stuff like that like I'm a drummer by trade, but like no, I play bass in the band I'm in, and they're like, oh really? And they usually look at me like, oh, there was already a drummer, and I was like, yeah, there was already a drummer. They had a quality drummer to begin with. He like it playing in this band, like in terms of like the bass role for me in particular, like there's a lot of like weight on it because I'm holding up a lot of like rhythm end and stuff like that. And so I am a rhythm player at the end of the day. But I really like was forced to make sure that I was like on point, like to a certain degree in terms of like my style of playing. I'm usually like a little bit more of a messier player, I would say.
Okay.
Like I think left to my own devices, I'm a bit more of a messier player. And so up to this point, I'd not really played in a band that was frankly like as tight as this. Like I'd played in other bands that were a bit looser and were just kind of like washy in terms of rehearsing and stuff like that. So working with D, one of the things that I loved about his playing and the style of player that he was is that, and it's something that we all have done in this band, is that like we play to the strengths of the song.
Yeah.
And in terms of playing drums, like they can be I get caught in a rut so many times where like if I haven't played a lot on the kit and I just approach it and you just kind of play very like blasé, or you're just doing it just to like go through the motions of having your arms move and stuff like that, like there can be an insane amount of dullness in just like playing to play sometimes. And so you get caught into these rhythms and stuff like that of what you're doing. But the beauty of his playing was that like it's conversational.
Yeah.
It's conversational playing.
Right.
And there is a way, especially when playing drums, where you can have a lot of different pieces to play. And so you can start having lots of side conversations in terms of playing drums. And I've seen plenty of dudes who got chops and play on the biggest kits and have all the like the triggers and things like that, and can have a lot of very nuanced conversations over like the span of a whole kit. But to be able to have a conversational way of playing on a properly sized kit. Properly sized, you know what I mean? It's one thing to be minimalistic, it's another thing to go over the top, it's another thing to have like the right spices in terms of what you're cooking with, and not to overcook it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so for him to be so on point and so poignant with his style of playing, and to be singing at the same time, because I can also sing and play. I'm a little bit cruder about it, but I have an immense appreciation for it, and so like, so I related to him on that level of like, he's doing double duty.
Yeah,
he's doing insane double duty,
and
in terms of this band, you know, out of the 3 voices that are in it, like, you guys hold up an insane amount of vocal end, and I just sort of pick up at the end whatever's left and stuff like that, and he just would lead out in such a strong way vocally, and still be leading like that. So to play with him was such a joy in many ways, because I always knew he was there. I always knew he was going to be there on point. I always knew that he was going to find those accents that I wasn't hitting. And that we'd had so many times where just figuring out a song and figuring out where the different like hits are and the different accents are. And I would love just, there'd be times where we necessarily like wouldn't find it like in rehearsal, but we would do a song for like the umpteenth time, and somehow magically we just found like, wait, there's this one, and there's nothing more enjoyable than 2 drummers realizing like this is that dope part in this song.
Yeah,
like we just discovered it, and now and sort of the osmosis of like never talking about it.
That's incredible.
There became certain points in the song where it was just like, oh yeah, that's where that weird cool thing is.
That's where
like,
that cool thing, and you never spoke of it, and
never.
yet you had a knowing. Here it comes.
Yeah,
you do it. It's awesome. Show's over. You don't even talk about it.
Never
comes up.
Never comes up. But
it's this thing.
I've recalled it.
Yeah. But it's
I've thing. Now burned it into my head.
You guys do a thing, and I don't know at what point he started kind of messing with it, but in Soccer Mom, when we play it live, that second verse, he starts doing these accents, and then you picked up on it, and then you guys are, I'm just staying straight on the melody, and I'm not varying it, but you guys are spicing it up, and it, like, I can't really enjoy it in the moment because I got to focus on me not paying attention to what you're doing, but after the fact, if it's recorded, I can, like, look at it and just go, oh, man, that was so cool.
Never coordinated, it just kind of, fell into place. Thing. And I mean, just a strict joy of just being in that moment and watching each other. You know, a lot of the dynamic that I've loved about our band is that, like, you know, with the 3 of us, like, it's instantaneous. Like, if 2 people are on the same page, the third one might be a half step behind. But like when we find it together, like it's what allows us to take off and like just be free, like in those moments.
Yeah, I mean it, and I think that also kind of explains that notion of people saying to us, I can't believe you guys are a 3-piece.
Yeah.
Like, there's this huge sound coming out of just 3 people. Like, I don't get it, you know? So it's just that magic of 3 of us individually and then coming together.
Yeah.
That coming together is what just makes it explode exponentially.
There is also, I would say, that having played in other bands, like, I'm a multi-instrumentalist, so it's easy for me to kind of dissect what everyone is doing and understand that everyone has a part.
Yeah.
But the real truth of the matter is that sometimes you can be in a band and you're set to be playing one instrument basically, but you may have somebody who's like just not as committed maybe, or just not maybe putting in the time, or just interest and stuff like that, or just is not like up to speed as everybody else. And so there becomes this feeling of compensation sometimes in bands where it's like, well, it's getting a little lax maybe on so-and-so's part, so like I'm just gonna like beef up what I'm doing a little bit. I'm gonna do like a little bit extra or something like that here. And I think that's like an unspoken thing that happens in bands. Right. And it's like it's basically relational on a level, because that's essentially you having another partner and saying like, I don't feel like you're putting in your percentage into this relationship, which is a weird, like that's an insanely like emotional thing to relate to somebody that you're in a band with. Right. Like you just can't, you can't like go up to your band player and say, I just don't feel like you're emotionally committing to your part,
to this part right
like,
here. So
what
I'm going to.
What do you mean? So, but one thing that I never had to compensate for what he was playing.
Right.
I never had to compensate for what you were playing.
Right.
We all understand each other in such a way that it's just like...
There was a trust.
Yes.
And that's the thing. That's one of many things that crushes me about his loss, is that trust and knowing, man, I've been walking through life the last 2011, right? With this knowing, all we have to do is get on stage, any stage.
I know.
It doesn't matter where we're playing and how many people are there.
I know.
It's going to be a consistently amazing display of what we do. And you might not like what we do, but I know you're going to be able to at least appreciate, like, I can respect that you guys are doing what you're doing because you're committed and it shows, and there was just this confidence of just knowing, like, anytime we got an email or the phone rang, like, hey, we need you to, yeah, okay. Just tell, how long are we playing? Where? When?
Mm-hmm.
And that, what you're describing, that just being able to trust you and him, and I just didn't think. Not thinking.
There were certain periods where, if we had been busy for X amount of months, I mean, there had to have been at least a point where I don't think we'd played together for like maybe a 6-month period.
Maybe.
Roughly.
But
it'd be a couple months sometimes.
Yeah.
It'd be
a couple months.
It'd be a couple months and we hadn't played together.
And it was like, whoa.
And we maybe had one rehearsal going into a show.
Yeah.
And even then that was more or less just to kind of like remember the songs. But I mean, honestly, like
right.
it was a drop of a hat. Like in any day, it could have come up last minute and it'd been like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah. I want to take a quick moment just to thank everybody for joining us. It's awesome that you're here. We're just going to flow and share more videos, and I've got some pictures queued up a little bit later. And so any kind of comments, feel free to put some comments in there, and I'm happy to respond probably after the show. It's just easier for us to get through all of this because we do have, more things to show. Okay, which leads me to, so I think it's 2012, and do you remember we did a gig? It was called Indie Fest. It was in Vegas, actually in Henderson, which is right outside of Las Vegas.
I think I recall this.
And it was Guitar Shop TV did an interview with us. So this is a little clip of us before we did our show.
I have not seen any of these clips in so long. This is amazing.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. So check this out. What's up, everybody? We're Olio. You're watching Guitar Shop TV. Welcome to Vegas. We're from LA in Orange County, and been together. He and I have been together about 12 years, and Kelley joined us about 6 months ago.
The initial meeting was with Arif and myself. We were playing in a cover band and with a crazy lead singer. Went ballistic one night. Arif was like, "Hey, join my band." All right, cool. There it was.
I think we're a good mix of like a funk and a rock, and we got some pop sound in there too. I think there's a lot of Police in there. I think there's a lot of Maroon 5 in there a little bit too. So it's nice and poppy, you can dance to it, but we got a great rock edge live too.
It's funny to see, whenever I see these videos of D, it's, it's still kind of surreal that he's gone.
Yeah.
Just, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember, we played a gig at a place called the Freakin' Frog.
Oh yes.
We played the Freakin' Frog, and
dingier than it sounds.
Yeah.
A lot dingier.
Yeah. And then so we did that, and then we played this festival, and it was like this huge. It was a big stage.
It was like this outdoor amphitheater.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was massive.
Yeah, in Henderson. So I'm sure any of you in Vegas, this this. It's called the Henderson Pavilion.
Yes.
So that's where we were. So this was around the time that I got a call from our friend Damon Tedesco, and he said, "Hey, I've got this opportunity. There's this audio engineering program at LMU. They're looking for a band. Eddie Kramer is a producer engineer, and he needs a band, so might as well just submit something." So I submitted a couple songs, and he ended up picking us. And we went in and worked with Eddie. And that was a magical experience. And I remember just thinking, man, you just joined this band. And
yeah,
here, like, we're doing, like, this is amazing.
I was less than prepared for that. I remember going into that, and I read a decent amount of liner notes, and I was just like, I think you had told me, and I was like, yeah, the name, like, rings a bell. I'm not entirely sure. And then I, like, went and looked up his work, and I like, freaked out. Like weeks before that, I was like, I didn't, because I was...
It was crazy, because I didn't know, like, I knew his work, but I didn't know what he was going to be like.
No, not at all.
And it's super great, just super nice. Which, so we did the song at LMU, and then the whole objective was to do more songs, which we ended up doing, and we recorded our EP, the Comeback Kings EP.
Yep.
And so in the summer of 2012, he calls me up and he says, "I need a band in the south of France. Do you guys want to go?" And I didn't even call you and D. I said, yes.
I bet you did.
And then I called you and I said, "Do you have your passport?" And you're like, and I was like, "Okay, you need to go get a passport.
I
remember
that phone call. I was either going to or coming from work, and I remember the street I was on, and you called me, and you were like, "Yeah, do you have a passport?" And I was like, I'm just in the middle of traffic, and I was like, "No. Why would I have a passport?"
Yeah. Because we're going to France with Eddie Kramer in October. So
like, what?
So you can go, right? I think is how I presented it.
I think I was still a barista at the time, so I had a lot of freedom in terms of what I could do. And I think I told my manager, I was like, "I'm gonna need like 3 weeks off." Sorry.
Oh man. So we go to the south of France, and we had prepared 3 songs. 3 songs were prepared. If you remember, Eddie came to a rehearsal in LA. We were going to do Shine a Light, Hypnotized, and One of Those Things. Rich People Problems had not been written yet.
Nope.
So
wow,
we get to France, and we're working out Rich People Problems in the dungeon. Right? And which we had talked about earlier on an earlier episode. And so it was one of those off days where the engineers were working with Eddie and they didn't need us. So we were in the rehearsal in the dungeon and we recorded it on the phone. And then that night I went out and D finished the lyrics for Rich People Problems. The next day we show Eddie, and Eddie's just, "We have to record this right now."
I think he was literally like, "Where did you record that?"
And so if you remember, we went and tracked the song in the normal setting, like the drum room.
Right. When we
did it a
took
few times.
Yeah, we did it.
And he's listening to the playback. Everything's right, but it's wrong.
Yeah.
And he wanted to match how it sounded on the iPhone. So where did you guys do this? Oh, we did it over there in that. Actually, we recorded it over in the barn.
Well, that's where we did the demo. Technically,
the demo was so he. That's where we have to record it, and we have to use the same gear. Like, I need to match what's on this phone.
I cringed.
So
I cringed so hard.
That crappy bass amp and that crappy guitar amp.
I hated that.
And D literally had a kick, hi-hat, snare, maybe a cymbal. I mean, but that was it. There was no toms.
I don't think he had a cymbal.
There's no toms. And I'm going to show you the video, because here is, and we talked about also that trip to France. D was going through this, like, losing his breath kind of thing. He had shortness of breath. So it was all about, hey man, we got to do this in one take. You know, he's like, I don't have time. Like, you guys need to be recording this.
Right.
And like, we need to like get it. So here we are. This is pretty much first take. And these are little snippets of Rich People Problems in that barn.
In the barn room.
In the barn.
Oh, boy, yeah.
And I can't remember what it has. It has a proper name. They call it, and I can't think of it. But so south of France, 3 of us with Eddie Kramer.
Yep.
That was history.
Can I go home now? It was there lurking. I had to let it out.
What's that? Can I go home now?
No.
Oh. Oh, yeah. And I remember.
Oh my gosh, that video's a trip.
Oh man! After we did that, Eddie was like, "That's how we always have to record you guys."
And I became convinced that like this is the only way to ever do it.
I mean, it was just
That was so cool because that was like like I had like heard. I'd basically grown up with stories of like, yeah, you know, they used to just get a band all in one room like back in the 60s. Like that's just the way they did it. And I was like, I can't believe they do it that way, man. That's great. And like so that was like such a surreal moment for me because I still felt like this is the way it's supposed to be done. This is how it's supposed to feel that good.
Right.
It really is.
oh man.
Man, that kit is shockingly killer. It really is.
It really is.
But again, like the kind of playing that it's like
yeah.
He had nothing. He did have a cymbal, which I totally forgot.
Yeah.
But it's just
he did
like
have one cymbal.
that is the kind of drum kit like you typically walk up to, and it's like I can't do anything on this. But he was the kind of drummer who's like,
he can.
Oh, I'm gonna do this.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna do this.
And then that was literally the one take, and then you heard him at the end. He's like, "Can I go home now?
I go home now.
I'm done.
We were there for like another week.
Can I go home now?" Oh man, that was so awesome. All right, I'm gonna queue up.
That was a trip.
So here's a slideshow, so we can talk over this. So this was a Coach House show. I remember this is the graffiti room, and this is like the green room. And we played quite a few shows at the Coach House over the years, so we did a photo shoot in there. And that's D in the studio. That could have been at East West.
I think so.
Or LMU.
It was where we mixed.
Oh, so that was LAFX.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay.
That was where we mixed.
That's so there's D. NAMM show, maybe 2013.
Yeah.
Because 2012 is when we did everything.
I think so.
And October 2012, France. So this is January 2013 with Eddie Kramer at the NAMM show in Anaheim, California. That's in the graffiti room, probably that same gig. And this is a picture that we never used, but I found it just going through.
That's a good picture.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's through. I think she took it through the mirror.
I think so.
Beth took these shots.
It looks like it. Yeah.
Because you can kind of see the.
Because I didn't recognize that side of the room. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah, what's that?
It is in that room.
Yeah. So, New Year's Eve gig. That was in Orange County.
Oh.
And
I had a massive head cold.
You did.
I was on a lot of cold medicine that night.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a long one. That was a long one for me. But we made it.
But we made it through. That was New Year's Eve. And here's a lot of van trips.
Oh my goodness.
Back in the van. This could be, judging by my shorts.
Judging by my shirt.
This is probably
And I think my jeans.
This is probably 2013.
That's got to be like the first run.
Yeah.
That's got to be a
Yeah,
really
like when we went up
early
to
run.
Seattle, and I remember
Just
just
short West Coast run.
yeah,
maybe.
we went up and Seattle and Portland and San Francisco. I think you remember that Nude and True sign that you found.
Have it. Still have it.
Yeah. Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. So, all right, we're back to that. Man, I mean that's the thing, is that there's so much to go through that can't do it all in one sitting.
Right.
But, so tonight I just want to just kind of cover, keep moving forward and just cover the ground of what we did. So the next thing I want to play is so for Rich People Problems. Once it was finished, I ended up putting together a lyric video for it, but it has footage of us performing intercut
Right.
with this. So that's what we're going to play next. So here is Rich People Problems with clips of us playing at the Coach House and also playing at St. Rock. I think just those two spots. And then there's a lot of just other stuff intercut with kind of the theme of the song, Rich People Problems. So just really quick, if you didn't know what it's about, there was a guy we met in Malibu. Hello Goodbye was up for an award
Yeah.
at the Malibu Music Awards, and we met this guy at the award show, and he was complaining about living in Malibu and the dating scene. And so we were like, we got to write a song about this guy. I mean, he's complaining about everything, and he lives in Malibu. I mean, come on, it's beautiful here.
He was definitely wearing a purple silk shirt.
Yes, he was.
And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna complain about something right now."
Yeah, okay.
That's
so
weird.
we got something for you.
Okay.
We got something for you. Rich People Problems, lyric video.
My Rolex says I'm on time, put my Bentley next to line. The valley has a degree. up late and made me miss my massage. My iced tea is missing lemon, country covers got me sinning. Leave a message, I'll be at the spa. Everywhere I go, baby. New York, Paris, London, Milano, baby. I got rich people problems. I've got money growing on trees. I got rich people problems. Everybody's riding for free. Over here, over there, all my friends are billionaires. A chain of islands named after me. I got rich people problems. This is how I know it should be. I'm rich. I'm rich. Private jets, movie sets, secret islands, psycho pets. You just don't know what to do. Shopping on Fifth Avenue, tits and teeth in Malibu. Cosmo ain't got nothing on you, girl. All over the world, baby. Monaco, Shanghai, Beverly Hills, Dubai. I got rich people problems. I've got money growing on trees. I got rich people problems. Everybody riding for free. Over here, over there, all my friends are billionaires. It's 4 o'clock, time for tea. I got rich people problems. This is how I know it should be. I'm rich. Everywhere I go, baby. Geneva, Tokyo, Berlin, Hong Kong. I got rich people problems. I've got money growing on trees. I got rich people problems. Everybody's riding for free. Over here, over there, all my friends are billionaires. The Cayman Islands don't charge a fee. I got rich people problems. This is how I know it should be. I'm rich. I'm rich beyond belief. I'm rich beyond belief.
I remember playing that song, and if we didn't set it up beforehand, that we had a different reaction than if we set it up. Because I think people didn't know how to take the song, like, oh, this band thinks they're kind of full of themselves or something. And then as soon as, like, okay, I'm going to just do a quick introduction. And then it would just like, oh, okay.
Right. It's the super tongue-in-cheek attitude of that song that you have to be aware of the mindset that it's like written in.
Right.
You know, to like understand. It's like it's almost akin to like reading like a certain piece of literature, and like if you don't understand the context of the time it was set in, like in the 1600s, like it's gonna be hard to process this,
right.
you know. So
yeah. But that song was always fun to play.
Oh my gosh,
always fun, and just he's just great. I mean, when we were writing that and he was like showing us, I mean, I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, it was just his delivery. And then in the studio when he was, you know, it was like, bigger. Eddie was like, bigger. Dubai.
Dubai was the line. That one's always the one.
I mean, so good.
There's some buried takes of that are hilarious.
That's just awesome. The next clip is we're back at House of Blues. And this time...
I think I have the right shirt this time.
You have the right
I've
shirt.
gotten it right.
You have the right shirt and the right tie.
Yep.
So here we are, and we're performing Show Goes On.
Promise it's going to be really, really good.
Trouble ring the bell. Growing up in sin, tried it again. And I changed the light, running from my side. Oh boy, I pray, the devil got in the way.
Something I'm paying attention to is a lot of these gigs, the drum kits, sometimes he's not using his own set.
Oh no.
And I mean, I know for me, when I'm playing on different guitars, it can be a pain in the butt.
Well, yeah.
And he's just, D is seamless with whatever the house kit. I mean, granted, he's got his own snare, but stuff's set up differently. The toms are set up differently.
Yeah.
And like Saint Rock, that happens. There's a house kit there. Sometimes Coach House is that way. Right there, House of Blues, that was their kit.
Yep.
And he makes it look so easy.
You never know walking into a situation like that where it's like the house kit or a backline kit and stuff like that, and it's like sometimes, you know, you don't really have the time to like, I need to arrange this, like
adjust it.
I just like
need
I
it.
like, and he wasn't that kind of drummer. Like he could adapt. He could adapt to whatever kit he was playing on, and he just knew how to do that seamlessly. And you know,
I was just watching, because that song, it has those tom fills in the chorus, dooku, and it's just like nothing.
Yep, seamless,
easy. All right. Here's a slideshow. This is us with Joe Solo at his place. We're recording New Year's Eve. And we're doing background vocals.
Yes.
That was with Joe. This we did. Okay, so this is at the Passing Zones studio, and we did a show where we played some songs and then we backed them up, and because they were doing, they were kind of
like their own sort of variety
show, right? And so after D, who was always, hey, we need to get some Christmas shots. And so he was like, he gave us ties and he brought the hats and was like, quick, let's just knock off some shots here. Okay. So there you go. Naughty, nice, naughty. Super Bowl. We did our Super Bowl halftime show.
Yep.
At their spot, at the Passing Zones space. And we thought it would be, hey, what if we got invited to do the Super Bowl and we could do, 9-song medley, and we'll just put it together. And so this was that. We had just finished. It's fun. We are opening for the Prince tribute band.
Yes.
Because D was like, all right, we're doing the Purple Paisley Ties.
They had to do it.
So there we are. This is, I think, right before we went on stage. I'm holding the set list. You're holding some apple juice.
Yes. Big apple juice.
Big apple juice. And we were ready to go. Ready to roll. This is with Sandy and Regina at that same Super Bowl taping. And they are Olio VIPs that have been with us since the very, very beginning.
Oh, yes.
All right. We're back to that. So... that Super Bowl halftime show, I remember it was the end of January and I had a bad cold and I was losing my voice.
Oh yeah.
And I just thought, how am I going to get through this thing? I'm drinking tea and I'm,
You were the total diva that day.
Oh man, I was a pain. I was a
He came
pain.
in his scarf and everything.
I
was like,
had the scarf.
Boy, he's
and
doing
I was
it
just,
today.
I had my tea. And then I'm in the car warming up my voice over and over. And then I came in and D has he has something called, it's a spray that singers use, and it's can't think, it's like singers something. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me that. Sprayed that.
You had never used that before?
I mean, I had, but years ago. Like, I don't, I'm good. I didn't need it.
This is fine.
But yeah, I'll be good.
Literally like a 9-day recording, and he's like, yeah, just give me that weird spray.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
That's fine. Dangerous.
So, in January of 2016, we started tracking drums and bass for New Year's Eve with producer Joe Solo.
Okay.
So we had, we've got some footage here of that day in the studio. And I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play that now. So check it out.
I don't even think I've seen this.
Okay, so check this out. We're here tracking drums today at the Lair Studios, and I've got my morning tea to get us going. Even though my parts are
You're not
done.
singing though.
My parts are done.
You're like so faking it.
Yeah. That's good. We're tracking drums and bass.
Good luck.
gotta deal with it now. You gotta come up with something new. Take advantage of it. You gotta break out with that.
Dude, that was killing. Yeah, that was good. You did this thing?
Oh, yeah.
You went on the floor, Tom? Hot. How you feel?
All right.
Sounding great, man.
Yeah.
Really great. Yeah.
Oh man, we forgot to hit record. No, I'm just kidding. Dude, man. Is that all right? That was fucking phenomenal. Okay.
This is good.
I didn't work at all. I basically just hung out all day and watched these guys do their thing. But they did excellent work.
Pretty good.
Excellent. Job well done, fellas.
Great job. Thank you, Joe.
Ciao.
What do you remember from that day?
I do remember that day now that I've seen that footage. It took me a second. I was like, oh yeah, I was there. You know, one thing that was always funny about him tracking, like, again, like, he's an insanely solid drummer and like super reliable. But what I loved is that, like, over time, like, especially like a longer recording session, like, and that session really proves it in a lot of ways. Like, he would start to just go on like certain fills and runs, like he would find them, but it would take like, you'd had to get like 12 times through the song. And it's like, I don't know. I always love those moments where like he kind of would cut loose a little bit because he didn't do it a lot.
Right.
He played to the strength of the song, and like he knew what his role was, and he knew that he didn't want to overplay it. But I would always love those moments where it would creep out him a little bit. And I was like, that was a day where he was playing a long time that day. Like that, and there were some insane like fills that he did that day that were just like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. Like I wanted it in. There were certain over the bar line fills of that one that I kind of wish had made the cut, like ultimately, and then some of them didn't. But he was a beast that day. Man.
Yeah, because Joe kept just like, do more. You
on
know?
a kit basically the same size that he played in France too. It's like, you should give him a bigger kit, I think. But no, he destroyed it, man.
It was awesome.
He destroyed it.
It was awesome. So, I don't know if you remember this little clip, but D always had good ideas on, you know, how to get us out and promote. So he had us do this. We did this little New Year's Eve U2 challenge. And we did this little quick video talking about how we did it like a promotion, and it was our New Year's Eve against U2's New Year's Day.
No one's ever heard of it, so we just figured.
So he was just like, yeah, we'll just do a thing.
We figured we'd punch down.
It'll be great. We'll do it. It's just a good way to promote. So here we are with the New Year's Eve challenge. We're Olio from Los Angeles, and we're an indie band that just dropped a new single, New Year's Eve. And in honor of this new single, we are taking on U2 with an old-fashioned song challenge. We're pitting our song, New Year's Eve, against their song, New Year's Day. And your vote will determine the winner.
Hey, and when you go and vote, you can download our song, New Year's Eve. And so if U2 wins, we're going to donate all of the proceeds from those downloads to the Red Foundation. Now, if Olio wins, we've decided to let U2 determine our fate.
So make sure to click on the link below and go to the website and cast your vote today. And hurry, because voting ends soon, so get out there and make your voice heard.
That's good.
That is good. That's why I said it.
That's why he said it.
I took a lot of takes.
Yeah.
And I was definitely intentionally eating something. Wish I remembered what it was. I'm sure I enjoyed it.
Maybe it's a bagel or a pretzel. I don't know. Or I don't know.
What is wrong with me?
I don't know. Fun moment. Then we had a chance to do another music video. So this is the music video for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
This was a fun day.
Oh boy.
This was a fun day. So here we are in downtown LA with Brett and Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Shout out.
Yep. And here we are.
Oh, we about to have a good time tonight.
All dressed up and on the go. Beautiful night, we're in the flow. Looking good, Hollywood and Vine. Forget tomorrow, now's the time. Disco party, Twilight Zone.
Disco party, Twilight Zone.
It's a throwback, we can go. David Bowie, super freak, looking, feeling sexy chic. It's a night of make-believe.
Dance like New Year's Eve.
I can feel it, ain't gonna stop.
New Year's Eve.
I'm not waiting for the ball to drop.
New Year's Eve.
Gonna party like it's 99.
New Year's Eve.
In the middle of a good time.
Come on. It's a night of make-believe.
Flashing back, let's take a trip. We rocked it on the Sunset Strip. With my crew we got around. Back in the day we all got down. Disco party, Twilight Zone.
Disco party, Twilight Zone.
It's a throwback, we can go. David Bowie, super freak, looking, feeling sexy chic. It's a night of make-believe.
Dance like New Year's Eve.
I can feel it, ain't gonna stop.
New Year's Eve.
I'm not waiting for the ball to drop.
New Year's Eve.
Come and party like it's 99.
New Year's Eve.
In the middle of a good time.
It's been too long since we've been gone. We grew up and moved on, but we got tonight, and it's alright. We can dance till the morning light.
Disco party, Twilight Zone.
Disco party, Twilight Zone.
It's a throwback, we can go. David Bowie, super free.
Looking, feeling sexy chic.
It's a night of make-believe.
It's been too long since we've been gone. We grew up and moved on, but we got tonight, and it's alright. We can dance till the morning light. New Year's Eve.
In the middle of a good time. I can feel it, ain't gonna stop. I'm not waiting for the ball to drop. Gonna party like it's 99. In the middle of a good time. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Gonna party like it's 1999. In the middle of a good time.
That day was so much fun.
That day was insane.
Man, there's the people that came down, the extras that came down, and they were just funny,
They were super chill.
and it was just a lot of fun. And that was, I remember, when we did the Boom music video and New Year's Eve music video, it was just like, man, this is just a fun day.
Yep.
Just a fun day of just that. I mean, it's crazy. Also, when we did the Passing Zone theme song music video, that was fun too. When we had the fire,
We learned to juggle that day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're working.
I
on our
still think
juggling
about that every
skills.
once in a while.
Yeah.
I stop and tell myself, I can juggle. I don't do it, but I do tell myself I can juggle.
Right.
I was taught.
Yeah.
I was taught
I know
how
how.
to. I know.
I have the skills.
If it's on fire, I could juggle it.
And so that,
If I felt like it.
right. So here's some more shots. Here you guys are at the Coach House. This is that Prince show.
Yep.
I see the ties. So this was last summer after so this is Hermosa Beach summer concert, and that's my friend Sue, and she that was so awesome because we had a giveaway, and you were in charge of picking whoever was going to get the prize package with the autographed tie and the Party Up glow stick, and there was their CD, and there was other stuff in there, and you were like, you in the blue, you've been dancing all day.
That was not
yours.
a plant. I had no idea that you knew her, and
that was great.
Okay.
It was perfect.
She was having a good time.
Perfect. Yeah, she's awesome. So that was great. Alaska.
Oh my gosh.
Man. Warped Tour. Man.
Oh, dude.
That was incredible.
That was nuts.
So fun.
It was so nuts.
And the longest day I've ever lived because the sun never set. Like that right there. That's what it looks like at 10 p.m.
Yeah. It was probably like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It was just like, it looks like midday right now. It's crazy.
Nuts. But that
man.
was such a fun show and met
insane.
a lot of cool people up in Alaska. Oh, man. Good times. Same show. There we are.
Oh, man.
Yep. Man.
And that stage was, I was having a hard tech day that day.
I remember you had to swap out.
I was difficult.
You had your wireless basically shut down on you midway through the first song.
I think it did. Oh, man, that's
and you
right.
had to unplug, and then you were tethered to your amp, and you couldn't do your normal,
I was trapped.
you know.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I lived.
Yeah.
I lived. That stage was shakier than I cared for.
Yeah, it was.
Loved it, but shakier than I cared
It
for.
was shaky.
And I always test
shaky.
every stage. I stomp around. I got to find the soft spots.
And then another great moment, though, after we finished playing was that, the couple bands after with their debacle.
Oh, yes.
Someone's getting on a plane tonight.
Oh, yes.
Which we talked about already on an earlier show. But, yeah, Alaska was a blast.
Goodness, that whole thing was just... That was insane. That was an insane way to do Alaska.
Yeah.
Both times.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So shout out to Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Man, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right. So I've got a couple clips here that I happened to find today because I was doing show prep today.
Oh, these say rehearsal.
And yeah. So that's,
why did we film it?
No. It's okay. Hey, D actually, so he streamed a live rehearsal once.
I think
He streamed live.
Okay.
Our rehearsal.
Yeah, I remember this.
I'm not showing the rehearsal, but I'm showing you how the rehearsal starts. And I forgot about this. And this
I don't know what this
is so great. This is D being D, and I just love it. So check it out. This is from 2017. This was September. We were getting ready to play at St. Rock. So this was the rehearsal before our St. Rock show in 2017.
We are Olio. We are at rehearsal. It's what we do to prepare for our shows. You will finally get to look and see what we do and how we make it all grand for you at the venue. Mistakes and all, it's all good. We'll do what we can. We shall run it from the top. I say, old man.
Now they know the real you.
They know your real speaking voice.
Yeah, your real speaking voice. All that other stuff's an act.
I have concealed my identity for legal purposes.
I demand $1 million.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Oh, man.
Yep, I remember that.
So good. And like at the time, I know I was just busy setting up and wasn't really paying attention to what he was doing. And I was like, what's he doing? Who's he talking to?
I definitely was sitting there and I was like, this is fine.
Yeah, that's all right.
This is fine.
That's all right. So then we do the show. And then right after we finish, D went live again on Facebook. And he documented right after we finished.
This is Saint Rock.
This is that Saint Rock show that we were preparing for. Now it's moments after we finished.
Okay.
All right. Here's D.
I'm probably undressing.
I think you're fine.
Okay.
I think you're fine.
Okay, good.
Hey, it's D in the house. Heading back into the venue. We just got finished with our set. Check it out. It's crowded. Excuse me, peeps. Excuse me, fam. Excuse me. Talent coming through. All right, look it up. Check it out. We just got finished with a bomb-ass set. Here's Reef.
Yo.
You know why we had a great set tonight?
Why's that?
Because we had a great crowd.
The crowd was awesome tonight.
Awesome. That's when you have a great show. When you have a great crowd.
Lots of energy.
That's it. It was awesome tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming out, hanging out. Look at the buzz, man. It's getting crazy up in here. Look at all these damn people. It was fire. It was fire tonight. I want to thank everybody again for coming out and allowing us to do our thing. Now we got to go back and finish some stuff in the studio and then get ready for a tour and some more shows coming up locally. Until then, we love you. Peace out. Olio music. Out.
Yep.
I was likely undressing somewhere. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
I'll make a quick getaway at that.
You were undressing.
Saint Rock, our wonderful home.
Yep.
Home at home.
That's right. So at the top of the show, I queued up a song that's unreleased that D sang. It's called Party Up. And so we've got quite a few songs already recorded, and we are going to release them. Kelley and I need to figure out how we want to do it, what we want to do. But here is Party Up live at the Coach House in 2017. And D just doing his thing, and just amazing. He wanted to kind of capture, write a song that would just like, let's get the party going. And so he came up with this idea, and I remember when we were running it down in this room, just figuring it out. I mean, it came pretty quickly.
Yeah.
As we developed it, and then we ended up we played it, the Warped Tour. We did it on that show, and played it the second time, Summerfest, in Alaska when we did the second year in a row.
Yeah.
And then we just, we'd been playing it for, that kind of just became one of the staples. It was like,
oh yeah,
the first three songs, it became Boom, Party Up, and Sugar Daddy, Sugar Mama. Those three kind of just,
yeah.
For a while, it was those three, and then we'd figure out what to do after, like maybe New Year's Eve, or maybe, but Party Up was definitely,
Party Up was the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely in there. So here we are at the Coach House, Party Up 2017.
Looking at
Yeah, so we were just commenting. There was a big DSB on the kick drum of the other drum set. So that's Don't Stop Believin'. That was a Journey band.
Yep.
But yeah, so I was commenting on the second chorus. Kelley is on the other side of the stage, and
not where I'm supposed to be.
He's supposed to be singing with me.
Not where I'm supposed to be.
But he's just like jumping across, and as he's running across, there's a hey that he's got to hit, and just like magic, he's in front of his microphone, hey, and he keeps moving, and then he comes back, and yeah.
If you're gonna be late, you better make a good entrance. That's all I have to say about that.
You did it right.
Yeah.
You did it right. Yeah, man. So, in 2018, we played a show at the Mint, and
yes,
this was a really fun. It was a kind of a showcase night, and
oh man, that night was crazy.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. So, our friend AJ, who's a great director, he's a film director and a photographer. I don't know if you can hear my dog.
It's cool.
But,
yeah. No.
It's real.
It's all good.
Real.
Yeah. That's how studios are, man. You just have a shop dog.
Yeah. It's a studio dog.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So AJ, great director, he came down and he had this amazing camera, and he's like, I want to shoot you guys doing your thing. So he shot us, and then he put together this promo. He cut together this promo, and he used the song "Dirty" that we recorded with Ross Hogarth earlier in 2018.
Yep.
And Ross is a producer and mixing engineer who's worked with John Mellencamp, Keb Mo, Taj Mahal. He just won
some like metal acts. That
yeah,
have been awesome
and
that are escaping my mind.
Mixed. He produced the last studio album of Van Halen's.
Yes.
So Ross is no joke. So we had a great time working with him, and so he produced our song "Dirty." So you'll hear part of that song in this promo. It's a quick 38-second promo that AJ did, and
this turned out amazing.
Yeah, here it is.
Somewhere between 9 and midnight, howling at the moon, dancing in the moonlight. Everything got crazy up in here. You better stop, sweet nothing's in my ear. Meet me at 12:30. We can get dirty. Oh, we can get dirty. Oh, getting real flirty. Oh, we can get dirty. So we can get dirty.
It's awesome, and it really just kind of captured our essence live.
Yeah.
And he did a great job with that. And I remember D being so excited.
I don't
about
even. Did we even know he was gonna film that? Like
No.
going in, he just like showed up
No.
with it, right?
He showed up with a camera and was just like,
I think I was
Hey,
unaware that he was filming.
Yeah.
I think I maybe saw him on the side of the stage at one point, and I was like, "This is weird." And then I couldn't process anymore. But like, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
like a couple weeks later, you were like,
I was like,
I made us this video." I was like, "Who filmed that?
Yeah, what? Dude, when
Who
did this?
filmed that with a camera that good?"
Right. Came out great.
That video was awesome.
Came out great. So,
A lot of friends came out to that one too.
that was good.
Well, we made friends with Baja Men that night.
Yeah, we did.
That was.
Who let the dogs out? The Baja Men were there.
I think you texted me the next
Yeah.
day at work, like, "Hey, by the way, the Baja Men loved our set." I was like,
and
"What
bought
are
a
you
CD
talking
and, like,
about right
yeah.
now?" That was a weird night.
Yeah,
that
was great.
A trippy night.
It was
Man.
great and unexpected.
I just
and,
remember seeing these guys like sit in the corner
Yeah.
of the room, and they were like super chill and laid back, and I was like, who are these players just sitting out here? And they were very appreciative, like when they left when we finished, and I was like, those Jamaican guys really liked us. I don't know why they were here, but they really liked us.
Man, super cool. So shout out to the Baja Men. Man, thank you.
Thank you.
That was fun. We also met Janelle that night, who dances for Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yes.
And Janelle is just awesome all the way around, just beautiful person. And we met her that night. We became fast friends, and it's just she's great. So shout out to Janelle.
Shout out.
Yeah. Fun night. So over the course of, from 2011 to 2019, we've done several Battle of the Bands, and I have to say,
It's our thing.
Yeah, I'm so happy that, especially now, that we won that last battle, so that we could play at Hermosa Beach. So I've queued up a video from, it was August 26, 2018, and this is how we started the show. So it's not the full first song, but it's just kind of a, I think it's halfway through, like from the beginning to halfway through. But it was just a magical moment. And I remember, there was 10,000 people on the beach, and I remember joking.
It was massive.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I mean, so during sound check, I don't know if you remember, we didn't really need to sound check more. Like, we were done after a couple songs.
Yeah.
And so I asked the front of house engineer, like, can we do another one? He was like, yeah, we got time.
Woo, very Hermosa Beach of him. Yeah, I don't care, whatever.
We're good. You can do another one. Like, we don't need to do it, but there's all these people here. We might as well do another one. I think we did another one after that. It
probably
was
did, yeah.
So fun. So here we are kicking off the show. Hermosa Beach, 2018, on a big stage with lots of people.
Olio! Ain't no party like an Olio party. 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 Got the swag to match your swagger. Got the look. Breaking every eye you see. Shoot up the moves to make him stagger off the hook. Now he's making room for free. Off the hook. And went boom, just like that. Went boom, just like that. Went boom, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Went boom, just like that. Went boom, just like that. Went boom, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Put a ring on a finger, not the one. But his friends tell him to run. She puts the news, he's the ringer, not his son. Cause the kid is not his son. It went boom, just like that. It went boom, just like that. It went boom, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Everybody go boom, just like that. It went boom, just like that. It went boom, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Y'all know where it's at. Just like that. Y'all know where it's at.
So that's all I had of that intro, but man, that was it's a fun day.
That was an insanely fun day. I vividly remember that because that was the first time my kid has seen me on stage.
Right.
And she was like, she might have been 3, maybe.
Yeah.
2 to 3, roughly that. And I'll never forget the look on her face. She was like down, like right in front and like watching me play and like just this very confused like look like,
what's Daddy doing?
I know him.
I know.
And yet somehow I don't know him.
Yeah, like
right
I've
now.
never seen this guy.
And I remember that feeling of like, oh, this is a memory that's burning into your head right now. You're going to ask me about this one day, and I won't know how to respond to it. I'll just be like, yeah,
it happened.
I don't know. Yeah, it happened.
It happened.
No, it didn't happen. I'll just tell her it didn't happen.
It didn't.
You dreamed that, baby.
Yeah.
You dreamed that.
Yeah.
She has since gone on to air guitar in the house a lot more, and
yeah,
I openly blame that event.
Yeah, I think she's channeling her dad now. She's all about.
There's some insane footage out there of that. She's out of control.
She's loving it.
She's loving it.
Yeah, it's in the blood. I mean, you can't stop it.
Well,
what are you gonna do?
It's encouraged now, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so.
She's like, well, Dad does it. So.
Dad did it.
Yeah, I mean.
It's all over.
Clearly,
now.
I'll improve what he's done and make
all
it better.
over now. I get a guitar player in the family, I guess. So we'll see.
That's awesome. Here's some shots. All right, so this is from December 28th, 2018, we're at the Coach House opening for the Motels. So this is our last show at the Coach House. This is from Hermosa Beach with Dee and family. And Caden is missing from this shot. But it's there's Leah, Kylie, Christopher. And that's my family. Being funny. Crazy. Fun day. There's Martha Davis of the Motels. So we had just... Actually, so we finished our set, and she finished her set, and she came back to where... Because we were selling merch.
The merch was.
Yeah.
Yep.
They had their merch, we had our merch, and she came running back, and she said, we need to go on tour together. like really, let's go tour together. And Dee and I looked at each other and said, okay, let's go. So that was in the works. But yeah, she was like, you guys are making me have to up my wardrobe.
She did
Like,
say that, didn't she?
You guys like have a look, and I'm just like dressed in like just whatever. And
You're okay, baby.
Yeah,
You're okay.
So, but Martha Davis, I mean, just sounded amazing. Just great voice. Vocals are awesome. Band was great. It was a fun show. It was a fun night. This is Summerfest in Alaska.
Oh man.
And this show almost didn't happen because the wind gusts were like 60 to 70
that's what
miles an hour.
this is. Yep.
And we
oh man.
And so we're at Chris's friend's place because he hooked us up with a place.
Yes.
And we're waiting for a ride to get to the venue.
It's just as infamous.
And I'm like, is this
he'll be there.
happen?
He'll be there in 10 minutes.
And then an hour
He'll
later.
be there in an hour.
Yeah.
What?
It's like, is this happening?
He'll
like,
be
what?
there in an hour and a half. What?
And just, it was crazy.
Oh man.
It was a really horrible weather day. And I remember some of the bands were threatening, we're not going to play. It's not safe. And then like the wind was still blowing by the time the festival started, but it wasn't like it had been.
It had died down some.
So we made it through, and everybody, got their time. But this is backstage before we played. Yeah. All right. This is at the Slide Bar with Chris and Jerry and Vanilla Sugar.
Yeah.
So we did a string of dates with Vanilla Sugar.
Yes.
That was actually last year in March because we played Texas Indie Fest.
Was that last year?
No.
I think it was the year.
No, 2017.
That sounds
Vanilla
right.
Sugar also played Texas Indie Fest.
That sounds right.
But 2017, we did 10 shows together, and
Yes.
we went to Texas, and we played in Scottsdale, we played New Mexico, so we did and then we did some shows in LA, and this was like the last. This wrapped it up. This
That was
the
the
last
final
show
night. Yep.
at the Slide Bar in Fullerton.
Oh.
Yeah. So. Vanilla Sugar.
Love them.
So there we are. We're back at the beginning. All right. So I've got one more video to play, and so we're gonna do this video, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit at the end. Like I mentioned before, Dee always had great promotional ideas, and so this was the Coach House with the Motels. And it was December 28th was the show. And so about a month before the show, he said to us, he goes, we should do something where we wrap gifts and we give gifts away from the stage. And it'll be black wrapping paper with white ribbon that looks like a tie. And we'll have 3 packages, and we'll each find someone in the audience and give a package to. And it has, Olio goodies in it. But it worked really well. I mean, the crowd ate it up, and it was a cool thing we did. And that was Dee just using his promotion brain. And so here's a clip of that going into a song that we played for a long time called Get a Room.
Yes.
Today, we noticed under the tree, Santa brought us some very special gifts.
just for 3 people here at the Coach House tonight. So Kelley's got his person picked out, Arif's got his person picked out.
I see you, baby. I see
I got my person picked out.
I see you.
Right there in the white, right there, that's it.
She's been grooving with me since the first downbeat, and I was like, ooh, she wants it.
Come on, baby, come get your stuff.
Come get it. Come get it. Quick. Have Slash hand it to you. He's got it right here.
We want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight to check out the motels, our very new friends. We love them already.
Plenty of hotels.
And,
Plenty of hotels.
Speaking of hotels.
Speaking of hotels.
This song is just for you.
This song was inspired by a trip to Vegas. Now, who's been to Las Vegas? All right. This song is called Get a Room. You start, don't never stop. The way you move, I'm gonna walk. Feel the change, ever chemistry on your eyes. What do you do to me? Come on, go down the winter out. Yeah, I've been spellbound. One thing left to do, get her, let's get a room. Give me the touching, get a room. Leave all the fussing, get a room. Leave all the cussing, get a room. Let's get a room. Yeah, everybody, my high club, to the balance. Bring the town, get a bit away. On again, I think we need a bed. Go down the winter out. Yeah, I've been spellbound. One thing left to do, get a, let's get a room. Give me the touching, get a room. Leave all the fussing, get a room. Screaming and cussing, get a room. Let's get a room. Let's go. Give me the room of you. I can stand. We'll put it in good news. Change the sheets when we move. Look at all this man from a party too. Hey, save it for the bedroom. Save it for the bedroom. Let's go.
Get a room.
Just killer.
Man.
Killer. He's a beast.
Yeah. Just all around awesome. All around awesome. Just great guy. Great friend. Great drummer. Great singer. Great writer. Great idea guy.
Yep.
Just, Man, greatly missed. Greatly missed. Oh, really? Looks like we lost the stream for a second. And looks like we're back. I don't know. Somehow the stream cut out for a second.
Kept
but,
it. Good.
But we got back in. Yeah, so just definitely gonna miss D greatly. And I'm so grateful for the time that we shared with him.
Yep.
And you know, he's definitely gonna live on with all of us. And I mean, there's not much more I can say, and there's a lot to say, but
yeah,
you know.
Well, and you know, we have the songs to finish up,
right?
And there's still, you know, unheard recordings that are out there.
Yeah, there's still more to do, and
we'll tidy that up.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of unreleased recordings, I'm going to close out episode number 10 with so here's an unreleased track. It's not mastered, but it's one that will be released on this next album, and it was one that he really enjoyed, that Dee really enjoyed, and you know, you and he were so locked in. It's Best Is Yet to Come. So we'll leave you with this, and this has been Inside the OMG, episode number 10, DeHaven Carrington, part 3 tribute. And I want to thank you all for hanging out with us and listening and watching as we shared all these memories and videos and pictures and stories, and so grateful for you to be here, and we love you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you with episode number 11. No idea what we'll be doing, but we'll be doing something. So we're going to keep this train moving. And here is Best Is Yet to Come with Dee, Kelley, and myself. Till next time.
It's time for revolution. Make way for revolution. It's here for the taking. They know if we're faking. This fight getting stronger. Can't wait any longer. Break out, there's a fever. Hold on, true believer. This is the one. This is the one. This is the one. Best is yet to come. Best is yet to come. Best is yet to come. I want the solution. Time for restitution. Make change in the mirror right now.